Creative visualization. Use the power of your imagination to create what you want in your life. By Shakti, Gawain. We're in part 1. How to visualize. Many people wonder exactly what is meant by the term visualize. Some worry because they don't actually see a mental picture or image when they close their eyes and try to visualize. When some people first try to visualize, they feel that nothing is happening. Usually, they are simply blocking themselves by trying too hard. They may be feeling that there is a right way to do this and that their own experience is incorrect or inadequate. If this is how you feel, you need to stop worrying, relax, and accept what happens naturally for you. Don't get stuck on the term visualize. It is not at all necessary to mentally see an image. Some people say they see very clear, sharp images when they close their eyes and imagine something. Others don't really see anything. They sense or feel it, or they just sort of think about it. That's perfectly fine. Some people are more visually oriented. Some are auditory. Others are more kinesthetic. We all use our imaginations constantly. It's impossible not to. So whatever process you find yourself doing when you imagine is fine. If you still don't feel sure what it means to visualize, read through each of these exercises, then close your eyes and see what comes naturally to you. Close your eyes and relax deeply. Think of some familiar room, such as your bedroom or living room. Remember some familiar details of it, such as the color of the carpet, the way the furniture is arranged, how bright or dark it is. Imagine yourself walking into the room and sitting or laying down on a comfortable chair, couch, or bed. Now, recall some pleasant experience you have had in the last few days, especially one involving good physical sensations such as eating a delicious meal, receiving a message, swimming in cool water, or making love. Remember the experience as vividly as possible and enjoy the pleasurable sensations once again. Now, imagine that you are in some idyllic country setting, perhaps relaxing on soft green grass beside a cool river, or wandering through a beautiful lush forest. It can be a place that you have been or an ideal place where you would like to go. Think of the details and create it any way you would like it to be. Whatever process you use to bring that scene to your mind is your way of visualizing. There are actually 2 different modes involved in creative visualization. One is receptive, the other is active. In the receptive mode, we simply relax and allow images or impressions to come to us without choosing the details of them. We take what comes. In the active mode, we consciously choose and create what we wish to see or imagine. Both those processes are an important part of creative visualization, and both your receptive and active abilities will be strengthened through practice. Special problems with visualization. Occasionally, a person has completely blocked his ability to visualize or imagine at will and feels that he simply can't do it. This type of block usually arises from a fear, and it can be worked through if the person who experiences the difficulty desires to solve the problem. Usually, a person blocks his ability to use creative visualization out of a fear of what he may encounter by looking into himself, fear of his own unacknowledged feelings and emotions. For example, a man in one of my classes was consistently unable to visualize and kept falling asleep during the meditations. It turned out that he had once had a profoundly emotional experience doing a visualization process, and he was afraid he would be embarrassed by becoming emotional in front of others. A woman client of mine had difficulty visualizing until she went through therapy and was able to get in touch with experience and release painful feelings that she had buried inside since childhood. The truth is that there is nothing within us that can hurt us. It is only our fear of experiencing our own feelings that can keep us trapped. If anything unusual or unexpected arises during meditation, the best thing is to simply look at it fully, be with it, and experience it as much as you can. And you will find that it eventually will lose any negative power over you. Our fears arise from things we don't confront. Once we are willing to look fully and deeply at the source of a fear, it loses its power. If we feel overwhelmed, it can be very helpful to get support from a good counselor, a therapist, who can help us accept and express our feelings. This is especially important if we've had a lot of pain or trauma in our lives. Fortunately, problems with visualization are relatively rare. As a rule, creative visualization comes naturally, and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. If visualization is difficult for you, you may find that saying affirmations is easier and more effective. See later chapters. 4 basic steps for effective creative visualization. Number 1, set your goal. Decide on something you would like to have, work towards, realize, or create. It can be on any level: a job, a house, a relationship, a change in yourself, increased prosperity, a happier state of mind, improved health, beauty, a better physical condition, solving a problem in your family or community, whatever. At first, choose goals that are fairly easy for you to believe in, that you feel are possible to realize in the fairly near future. That way, you won't have to deal with too much negative resistance in yourself, and you can maximize your feelings of success as you are learning creative visualization. Later, when you have more practice, you can take on more difficult or challenging problems and issues. Number 2, create a clear idea or picture. Create an idea, a mental picture, or a feeling of the object or situation exactly as you want it. You should think of it in the present tense as already existing the way you want it to be. Imagine yourself in the situation as you desire it. Now, include as many details as you can. You may wish to make an actual physical picture of it as well by making a treasure map, describing details later. This is an optional step, not at all necessary, but often helpful and fun. Number 3, focus on it often. Bring your idea or mental picture to mind often, both in quiet meditation periods and also casually throughout the day when you happen to think of it. In this way, it becomes an integrated part of your life, and it becomes more of a reality for you. Focus on it clearly, yet in a light, relaxed way. It's important not to feel like you are striving too hard for it or putting an excessive amount of energy into it. That tends to hinder rather than help. Number 4, give it positive energy. As you focus on your goal, think about it in a positive, encouraging way. Make strong, positive statements to yourself that it exists, that it has come, or now coming to you. See yourself receiving or achieving it. These positive statements are called affirmations. While you use affirmations, try to temporarily suspend any doubt or disbelief you have, at least for the moment, and practice getting the feeling that what you desire is very real and possible. Continue to work this process until you achieve your goal or no longer have the desire to do so. Remember that goals often change before they are realized, which is a perfectly natural part of the human process of change and growth. So don't try to prolong it any longer than you have energy for it. If you lose interest, it may mean that it's time for a new look at what you want. If you find that a goal has changed for you, be sure to acknowledge that to yourself. Get clear in your mind the fact that you are no longer focusing on your previous goal. End the cycle of the old and begin the cycle of the new. This helps you avoid getting confused or feeling that you've failed when you have simply changed. When you achieve a goal, be sure to acknowledge consciously to yourself that it has been completed. Often, we archive things that we have been desiring and visualizing, and we forget to even notice that we have succeeded. So give yourself some appreciation and a pat on the back, and be sure to thank the universe for fulfilling your request. Creative visualization works only for good. Don't fear that the power of creative visualization can be used for harmful ends. Creative visualization is a means of unblocking or dissolving the barriers we ourselves have created to the naturally harmonious, abundant, and loving flow of the universe. It is only truly effective when it is used in alignment with our highest goals and purposes for the highest good of all beings. If someone should attempt to use this powerful technique for a harmful or destructively selfish end, that person would only be demonstrating his or her ignorance of the law of karma. This is the same basic principle as the law of radiation and attraction. As you sow, so shall you reap. Whatever you try to create for another will always boomerang back to you. That includes both loving, helpful, and healing actions and negative, destructive ones. This means, of course, that the more you use creative visualization to love and serve others, as well as your own highest ends, the more love, happiness, and success will just naturally find their way to you. Just to make sure that you are aware of this, it is a good idea to add the following phrase to any creative visualization process you do. This or something better now manifests for me in totally satisfying and harmonious ways for the highest good of all concerned. For an example, if you are visualizing getting a job promotion, don't envision the person above you being fired, but imagine him or her moving on to other better things or a better, more fulfilling job, so that it works out for the good of all. You don't need to understand or figure out how that will happen or try to decide what is the best way it could work out. Simply assume that it is working out for the best and let the universe, intelligence, take care of the details. Affirmations. Affirmations are one of the most important elements of creative visualization. To affirm means to make firm. An affirmation is a strong positive statement that something is already so. It is a way of making firm that which you are imagining. Most of us are aware of the fact that we have a nearly continuous inner dialogue going on in our minds. The mind is busy talking to itself, keeping up an endless commentary about life, the world, our feelings, our problems, and other people. The words and ideas that run through our minds are very important. Most of the time, we aren't consciously aware of this stream of thoughts, and yet what we are telling ourselves and our minds is the basis on which we form our experience of reality. Our mental commentary influences and colors our feelings and perceptions about what's going on in our lives. And it is these thoughts forms that ultimately attract and create everything that happens to us. Anyone who has practiced meditation knows how difficult it can be to quiet the inner mind talk in order to connect with our deeper, wiser, intuitive mind. One traditional meditation practice involves simply observing the inner dialogue as objectively as possible. This is a very valuable experience as it allows you to become consciously aware of the content of your thoughts. Many of these thoughts are like tape recordings of old patterns we've had all our lives. They are old programming we picked up long ago, which is still influencing what's happening to us today. For example, we might find that we habitually think self-defeating thoughts such as, I'm not going to be able to do this, or this is never going to work out right. The practice of engaging in affirmation allows us to begin replacing some of our stale, worn out, or negative mind chatter with more positive ideas and concepts. It is a powerful technique, one that can in a short time transform many of our attitudes and expectations about life, and thereby help to change what we create for ourselves. Affirmations can be done silently, spoken aloud, written down, or even sung or chanted. Even 10 minutes a day of repeating effective affirmations can counterbalance years of old mental habits. If you become aware that you are repeating habitual negative thoughts, patterns, or attitudes, try saying an affirmation to yourself a few times right then and there. For example, if you find yourself thinking, oh, what's the use? I'll never get what I want. You might say to yourself, I have the ability to create what I want in my life, or I deserve to be happy and fulfilled. An affirmation can be any positive statement. It can be very general or very specific. There are an infinite number of possible affirmations. Here are a few just to give you some ideas. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Everything I need is coming to me easily and effortlessly. My life is blooming in total perfection. I have everything I need to enjoy my here and now. I am the master of my life. Everything I need is already within me. Perfect wisdom is in my heart. I am whole and complete in myself. I love and appreciate myself just as I am. I accept all my feelings as part of me. I love to love and be loved. The more I love myself, the more love I have to give others. I now give and receive love freely. I am now attracting loving, satisfying relationships into my life. My relationship with blank is growing happier and more fulfilling every day. I now have a satisfying, well-paying job. I love doing my work and I am richly rewarded creatively and financially. I am an open channel of creative energy. I am dynamically self-expressive. I enjoy relaxing and having fun. I communicate clearly and effectively. It's okay for me to have everything I want. I now have enough time, energy, wisdom, and money to accomplish all my desires. I am always in the right place at the right time, successfully engaged in the right activity. This is an abundant universe, and there's plenty for all of us. Abundance is my natural state of being. Every day I am growing more financially prosperous. The more I have, the more I have to give. The more I give, the more I receive, and the happier I feel. It's okay for me to have fun and enjoy myself, and I do. I am relaxed and centered. I have plenty of time for everything. I am now enjoying everything I do. I feel happy just being alive. I am healthy and beautiful. I am open to receiving all the blessings of this abundant universe. Blank is coming to me easily and effortlessly. I have a wonderful job with wonderful pay. I do a wonderful service in a wonderful way. The light within me is creating miracles in my life here and now. All things are now working together for good in my life. I am now attuned to my higher purpose in life. I now recognize, accept, and follow the divine plan of my life as it is revealed to me step by step. I give thanks now for my life of health, happiness, and self-expression. Here are a few important things to remember about affirmations. Number one, always phrase affirmations in the present tense, not in the future. It's important to create your desire as if it already exists. Don't say, I will get a wonderful new job, but rather, I now have a wonderful new job. This is not lying to yourself. It is acknowledging the fact that everything is created first on the inner plane before it can manifest in external reality. Always phrase affirmations in the most positive way you can. Affirm what you do want, not what you don't want. Don't say, I no longer oversleep in the morning, but rather, I now wake up on time and full of energy in the morning. This ensures that you are creating the most positive possible mental image. At certain times, you may find it helpful to phrase affirmations negatively, especially when you are working on clearing out specific emotional blocks or bad habits, such as, I don't need to get tense in order to get things accomplished. If so, you should always follow this type of affirmation with a positive one that describes what you desire to create, such as, I now stay deeply relaxed and centered, and everything is accomplished easily and effortlessly. Number three, in general, the shorter and simpler the affirmation, the more effective. An affirmation should be a clear statement that conveys a strong feeling. The more feeling it conveys, the stronger impression it makes on your mind. Affirmations that are long, wordy, and theatrical lose their emotional impact and become too mental. Number four, always choose affirmations that feel totally right for you. What works for one person may not work at all for another. An affirmation should feel positive, expansive, freeing, and or supportive. If it doesn't, find another one or try changing the words until it feels right. Of course, you may feel emotional resistance to any affirmation when you first use it, especially one that is really powerful for you and is going to make a change in your... Number five, always remember that you are creating something new and fresh. You are not trying to redo or change what already exists. To do so would be to resist what is, which creates conflict and struggle. Take the attitude that you are accepting and handling whatever already exists in your life. And at the same time, taking every moment as a new opportunity to begin creating exactly what you desire and will make you happiest. Number six, affirmations are not meant to contradict or change your feelings or emotions. It is important to accept and experience all your feelings, including so-called negative ones, without attempting to change them. At the same time, affirmations can help you create a new point of view about life that will enable you to have more and more satisfying experiences from now on. Number seven, try as much as possible to create a feeling of belief and experience that your affirmations can be true, temporarily at least for a few minutes. Suspend your doubts and hesitations and put your full mental and emotional energy into them. If doubt resists or negative thoughts are getting in the way of doing your affirmations, do one of the clearing processes or the written affirmation processes given in part 4 of this book. Rather than saying affirmations by rote, try to get the feeling that you really have the power to create that reality, which in fact you do. This will make a big difference in how effective they are. Affirmations can be used alone or in combination with visualization or imagination. It's very effective to include affirmations as part of your regular creative visualization meditation periods. Later in the book, I give you ideas of how many other ways to use affirmations. For many people, affirmations are most powerful and inspiring when they include references to a spiritual source, mention of God, the goddess, the universe, a higher power, spirit, the earth mother, divine love, or whatever phrase you prefer as spiritual energy to your affirmation and acknowledges the universe, the universal source of all things. Here are some examples. I have the infinite creative power of the goddess within me. Divine love is working through me here and now to create this. The Christ within me is creating miracles in my life here and now. I am one with the Great Spirit. My higher self is guiding me in everything that I do. God lives within me and manifests in the world through me. I give thanks to Mother Earth for nurturing and sustaining me every day. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God flows through me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. A spiritual paradox. Sometimes people who have studied Eastern philosophy or are on a certain spiritual path feel a hesitation about using creative visualization when they first hear of it. Their conflict comes from the apparent paradox they see between the idea of being here and now, letting go of the attachments and desire that the idea of setting goals and creating what you want in life. I say apparent paradox because in actuality there is no contradiction between the two teachings when they are understood on a deeper level. They are both important principles that must be understood and lived in order for you to become a conscious person. In order to explain how they fit together, allow me to share with you my viewpoint about the process of inner growth. Most people in our culture have become cut off from their awareness of their spiritual essence. We have temporarily lost our conscious connection with our souls and thus have lost our own sense of power and responsibility for our lives. In some inner way, we have a sense of helplessness. We feel basically powerless to make real change in our lives, in the world. This inner feeling of powerlessness causes us to overcompensate by striving and struggling very hard to have some degree of power or control in our world. Most of us, therefore, become very goal-oriented. We become emotionally attached to things and people outside of ourselves that we feel we need in order to be happy. We feel there is something missing inside ourselves, and we become tense, anxious, and stressed, continuously trying to fill up the gap, trying to manipulate the outside world in order to get what we want. This is the state of being from which most of us are setting goals and trying to create what we want in life. And unfortunately, from this level of consciousness, it doesn't work at all. Either we set up so many obstacles for ourselves that we can't succeed, or we do succeed in reaching our goals only to find that they don't bring us inner happiness. It is at the point where we realize this dilemma that we begin to open up to a spiritual path. We realize that there simply has to be something more to life, and we begin to search for it. We may go through many different experiences and processes on our search, but eventually we are gradually restored to ourselves. That is, we come back into an experience of our spiritual essence and universal energy within us all. Through this experience, we can be restored to our spiritual power, and the emptiness inside us is filled up from within. Now, to go back to our supposed paradox. When we are coming out of the empty, grasping, manipulative condition, the first and foremost lesson to be learned is just to let go. We must relax. Stop struggling. Stop trying so hard. Stop manipulating things and people to try to get what we want and need. In fact, stop doing so much and have an experience of just being for a while. When we do this, we suddenly discover that we're really perfectly okay. In fact, we feel wonderful just letting ourselves be and letting the world be without trying to change things. This is the basic experience of being here now. And it's what the Buddhist philosophy means by letting go of attachment. It's similar to the Christian concept, God's will be done. It's a very freeing experience and a most basic one on any path of self-awareness. Once you have begun to have this experience more and more often, you are opening up the channel to your soul. And sooner or later, a great deal of natural creative energy will begin to flow through you. You start to see that you yourself are already creating your whole life and every experience that happens to you. And you become interested in creating more rewarding experiences for yourself and others. You begin to want to focus your energy towards the highest and most fulfilling goals that are real for you at any given moment. You realize that life can be basically good, abundant, and often fun, and that having what you truly want without struggle and strain is part of your natural birthright as a function of just being alive. This is a time when creative visualization can become a most important tool. Here is a metaphor that I hope will make it even clearer. Let us imagine that life is a river. Most people are clinging to the bank, afraid to let go and risk being carried along by the current of the river. At a certain point, each of us must be willing to simply let go and trust the river to carry us along safely. At this point, we learn to go with the flow, and it feels wonderful. Once we have become accustomed to being in the flow of the river, we can begin to look ahead and guide our course onward, deciding where the course looks best, steering the way around boulders and snags, and choosing which of the many channels and branches of the river we prefer to follow, all the while still going with the flow. This metaphor shows us how we can accept our lives here and now, flowing with what is, and at the same time, guiding ourselves consciously towards our goals by taking responsibility for creating our own lives. Remember, remember too, that creative visualization is a tool that can be used for any purpose, including one's own spiritual growth. It is often very helpful to use creative visualization in picturing yourself as a more relaxed, open person, flowing, living in the here and now, and always connecting with your inner essence. May you be blessed with everything your heart desires. End of chapter 1.